Welcome back to Love, Life, and Legacy, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate these hypersexualized times. I'm here by myself, totally in a room that's totally empty, just by myself. And I recorded a great podcast with this guy named Fernando, and then his counterpart, the chapter leader here, Stefany Obando. It was a great episode. We're talking about Brazil, the event that we had here. We had a lot of laughs. If you enjoy people, fun, if you enjoy living life, and if you enjoy Heavenly Parent, then you'll enjoy this episode. It's sponsored by Love. So please welcome everybody to this episode. I'm getting a spiritual feeling. There's a presence. God bless you. Hey, everybody. We're going to do a podcast here together live. I don't know if you know these people. Who are you?
It's live?
Who are you? Yeah, this is
I'm Stefany Obando. Hello. And yeah, what else do you want to say?
Who are you? Why are you here? Where are we? Basic question.
So we are in Brazil, and we just had the tour event in Brazil that happened yesterday. The calendar happened yesterday. And yeah, we were all there. I am the chapter leader in Latin America.
Are you sure?
I think so. No, but I have a really nice team. Fernando is part of the team, and Luana, she's not here, but she says hi for sure. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, I am Fernando. I'm from Costa Rica, and I was not supposed to be here, but thankfully they allowed me to come to Brazil to help. And so I'm really happy to get to know people. And even though I don't know a lot of Portuguese, people know Spanish enough to understand me. So yeah, it was really nice. I work for the Spanish chapter mostly, but if I can, I help in Portuguese as well. But I'm just a subordinate to the chapter leaders and the core staff.
Minion.
Yeah, I'm just a minion for them.
You can't spell Dominion without minion.
Yeah.
We just finished an event, right? And so there's a part of our world tour. And you guys, I don't know if you've ever organized an event. There's a lot that goes into it. And in the past, we would kind of do a lot of it ourselves. But now, minions, we have. So we show up, and a lot of it's weird. It's very strange for us to show up. It's more stressful for half or most of the work to already have been done when we show up than to have nothing ready. Because with nothing, we know how to kind of build it from the ground up. We all kind of know what we're good at. But when we show up and everything's kind of done, I just kind of walk in circles, and then I usually just, I don't know, walk around by myself and pray or something. Because
if you want, next time we can do nothing until you guys come, and then we wait for you to do everything.
As long as you don't get in the way. It's weird. It's part of the evolution of an organization. So you hear about, like in movies, like the origin story of, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Like they did the origin story of like how he became Willy Wonka, right? And then, but when you live it, it's really weird that to think that in the beginning it was just me and some PowerPoint slides going into churches, and now we can show up into an entire country, and there's people coming in from all over the place to an event that we had no real part in making. We just show up, and it's weird. It's beautiful, but it's like, as an organization grows, you cannot manage or control a lot of what happens. You have to trust. And so that's cool, because you've been with Hainan for how long? That one. The you one.
I've been in Hainan since 2020.
So 17 years, okay?
Yeah.
For anybody listening to this in the
5 years. I was part of a summit as a volunteer translating, and since then they don't let me go. No, no, I want to stay. Yeah, and then it was kind of the evolution Andrew was saying a little bit also, like as a volunteer, and then I started working and then learning how things happen in Hainan. And then this year I became the chapter leader. Yeah, this year, right?
So we have a lot of leaders who are like you. Like in Hainan, the people that are not leaders, we don't go around stealing leaders. We take the people who either don't want to be leaders or don't know that they're leaders. And it took you a long time to just stop saying no and just start saying yes to leadership, right? You've been working for 4 years, and even one time you rejected the idea of being a chapter leader, and then it was just like kind of like all fingers were pointing at you at some point, and you couldn't say much, right?
Yeah.
So you used to be just like behind the scenes, always behind the scenes. Oh, I'm not a leader type. And then this weekend, like you are the leader of the whole kind of workshop, right? Like it all hangs on you. How does that feel?
So I'm not going to lie. It was really, I don't know, it was like a lot of emotions at the same time because it is really stressful because I mean, a workshop or like an event is not about the staff. Of course, the staff is important, right? Because you prepare everything, but who makes the event or the workshop is the people, right? Like
the participants.
Exactly, the participants. So like even if we did everything but nobody came, like that's not an event or a workshop.
So sad.
Right. So it was kind of balancing that, like, okay, we are preparing everything, but also like taking care of people and making sure people are having a good experience and everything. It was everything at the same time at once. So it was, stressful. I'm not going to lie. And also, it's the first time we're doing this. Like, it's the first big event we're having in Latin America as Hainon. Usually, we do a lot of small workshops, right? Like a local community, 20 people is really easy to manage compared to more than 100 people, right? So it was really challenging in that side, but I also was so happy that we have like a team, right? I was like, okay, I don't have to worry about like media, right? Like trusting they are doing the job, or like the kids, or like the food, or the small details, right? Keeping the time, like small things, right? So it was like, also I was so grateful and so like relieved that I don't have to do everything. But everybody was coming to me, right? So I was like, it was nice, but also challenging because, as Andrew said, I was always in the backstage. I like to be in the backstage. But it was nice that people trust me enough to like, find solutions sometimes in the moment. And also like the staff, you didn't know sometimes what was happening because they don't speak Portuguese.
We were useless.
But it was like really comforting me also. The whole team, right? Like we did a great job together. So it was like a lot of feelings.
A lot of feelings. So one thing is this tour has been a real challenge for our chapter leaders, right? So Uncle Dave had the Santia, we're going to do a world tour. And then what does the world mean? Well, the world means where we already are in the world. So we have chapters. So let's just it's really a chapter tour, right? So then it doesn't make sense for us to organize an event in your chapter. So then you can organize it, right? But then, so what I saw was like a lot of good organizing and good teamwork, but also I saw Stefany. There'd be times when I was talking to her, asking her, because something wasn't working. And I'd be talking to you, and I could see your face just like, as you were frozen, and it was like not computing. And I could realize like this is really pushing you beyond your limits, and that's so cool because there's no way to grow or to know your limits. Like we all think, you watch a movie or you listen to a song or whatever, you get inspired, like I could do anything. And you feel like there's no limits. And then you go try to do something and then you realize very quickly, I have a lot of limits.
Yeah.
So what was like a limitation that you really felt? Because it's high noon. We got to talk about our limitations too, right?
Yeah.
What's like one hard limitation that you really felt like, oh, this event is showing me some point that I need to work on?
I think two things. Especially the first one was like controlling, because I like when I can control or like know what is happening, everything, right? And like my friend Luana knows that I like
You
that.
control them too.
Yeah. No, but I like to know everything, like how things are happening and control every detail, because I feel like that will be the best, right? But then, like I say, like a lot of this workshop, because it was so big, it was like about trusting and like accepting I cannot control everything, and that's okay, right? So if something happens, it's okay. We're a team and we are doing an amazing job. Like repeating that myself a lot, like it's okay, like it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all Fernando's fault.
Exactly.
Always.
Yeah. So, but that was one thing that I was working since the beginning, right? Like I share a lot with my team, like, okay, we don't control everything, it's fine. So I already came with that mind, I guess. So, but it still at the moment was like, oh my gosh. And then the other thing I had as a feedback was like, so I'm actually not Brazilian, right?
Was this a confession?
Yeah, I'm confessing. I'm a fake Brazilian. Right. I lived here for 2 years because I received a blessing with a Brazilian. He is a Brazilian. And so there's been
Who, by the way,
uh-huh.
has very big muscle.
Yes. So it's already like a challenge to like feeling like I belong here as a part of community, as a part of a country, because even though it's South America and everything, every country and culture is so specific, and there's so many small things that they do different, right? And sometimes like shocking, or I just don't like it, or I like things. So doing an event here also was really challenging in that sense of like, I don't know 100% these people, yeah, and like having that sense of not belonging. And yeah, and I have a lot of concepts about Brazil and like also other countries maybe. So yeah, so I feel like that was also a challenge. I was like, yeah, for example, Brazilians are not so punctual. Yeah, so I have that as a fact. So it was like, hey, everything will be late and that's how it's going to be. But then they were saying like, you can try, you just need to ask them to be on time and stuff like that. I was like, no, they were just doing this just the way they are, right? But it's not like that, right? So I feel like my concepts were like not allowing me to see beyond the concepts of like, oh, Brazilians are like that, so it's impossible to do something different, right? So yeah, it was really challenging, and yeah, also like just present myself in the community, right? Because yeah, again, I'm new; they don't really know me. As Luana, right? She belongs here. She's part of Brazil, so that was also challenging. So people like, why should I trust this person that is in front of me? So yeah, that was maybe one of the limitations. Working, like my personal concepts were maybe affecting some stuff in the workshop. Yeah. So I think that was it.
Okay.
The biggest thing.
This guy's limitations. So Fernando, I came to Brazil with the understanding that you speak Portuguese.
Of course.
But you have limitations with your language. And then I was somewhere with you where I didn't know how to speak Portuguese. And so you translated for me into Spanish. Remember when we were in the
Yeah.
park, there was a guy trying to show me how to do muscle.
Yeah.
And then I thought you were speaking to him in Portuguese, but you're speaking to him in Spanish.
Spanish, yes.
So you don't speak any Portuguese.
No. I can try, but I've never learned anything formal of Portuguese. Anything formal, just the things I pick up from listening Luana's or the Brazilian families that live in Costa Rica. There are like 3 or 4 Brazilian families.
Yeah.
That they learn the Spanish, but they talk with a very thick Portuguese accent, or they straight out speak in Portuguese. So that's the only thing I know. But I've never tried to speak in Portuguese, and I didn't try even now because I get really conscious about that, the fact that I don't know.
Yeah. But so, okay, you weren't supposed to, you said, be here.
Yeah, exactly.
So explain that.
Yeah, so it's not that, it's so bad that I'm here. Like, I just sneaked in, right? It's just that my focus was in Bolivia. And
which is next
week, yeah. By the way, if you can buy a ticket now, we're still on time. Yes. We will translate it to English. We're already translating you in English.
They're going to hear this after the Bolivian event.
Oh, really?
So if you can also buy a ticket for a time machine.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps.
And let us know. Yeah. So I was mainly focused on Bolivia. And at the beginning, we were thinking, yeah, you can go, but does it make sense? Like, are you going to help in any way? So initially we thought, no, it's not needed, right? Or it was more like up to my decision. Like if I wanted to go, I could go. If I didn't want to go, there was no problem with me not going. That's the idea. So initially I thought that I'm going to focus on Bolivia. But then as the event started getting closer, seeing the venue, seeing how many people were going to go, I was like, for myself, saying like, oh, it would be nice to be there. It would be nice to experience that. And also one thing that we are trying to do in Brazil is get more men involved as well. And I am, so from time to time, I'm getting involved in that side of the planning for Portuguese, inviting people or connecting with men, especially, whether it's the facilitators or the participants. So I thought, if I go, I could try to connect with them and get to know them. So when we were buying the tickets, just just to see how much it would cost, we compared how much it would cost to go from Costa Rica to Bolivia directly, and from Costa Rica to Brazil and then Bolivia. And it was cheaper to go to Brazil and then Bolivia. So, money talks, So it was actually a lot better for me to go to Bolivia and to Brazil and then Bolivia. And so it was decided like
by heaven,
yeah, through Stefany's decision making of comparing prices. Yeah. And that's when, I'm going to Brazil now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you don't speak the language, but you still made yourself very useful. One cool thing. So, everybody has some sort of natural talent. And one thing we saw, which was amazing, is like there's babies. There's like a 1 or 2 month old baby, but a bunch of babies at the event. And then some older people, and then everything in between.
Yeah.
But the one group that always struggles the most to sit and watch is like 12-year-old boys.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so there's a group of them that looked like they were dying.
Yeah.
At some point, Fernando adopted them all. And the one, I didn't, it just kind of happened. You just took ownership and you started talking to them. But I didn't really notice this until at one point I saw Sammy got a picture of it, and it's you sitting in one chair and then a semicircle, like a half circle of them, all leaning in with such great interest. And you don't see from from young guys, you don't see them. It's so easy for them to be disengaged because that's kind of cool. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. But they're like totally listening to.
Hey.
So how did you do that?
Yes. I have learned to connect with young people through my experience in church. I found that I like to listen to people a lot. So with little kids, I feel that if you give them the space for them to express themselves, they can create whole adventures in a moment, right? And I really like to follow that. I really like to see why they think what they think. And I'm kind of goofy. Like I have a kind of goofy personality that sometimes I feel I cannot show, that I shouldn't show because of my age or stuff like that. But with kids, I feel that I can just be goofy and that's going to be okay because they are not that judgmental about that fact.
Sure.
Even if they think, sometimes they say, oh, you are too old to do that. Like they do it in a kind of like, you are too old to do that, but you're doing it. That's cool, right? They keep doing it. So I like that about them. And so in church in Costa Rica, I've been taking care of the youth, the second gen in general since 2018. And that's where I have learned to try to connect with them. And so in this workshop, initially I was not trying so much because of the language, but I think it was Stefany that saw that they were not discussing in the group questions. So she told me to talk to them. And so I know that I have to bring in the energy. I think that they, on both sides, from my side and from their side, they are good at imitating, like mirroring your energy. If you try to give them energy, they're gonna follow that. And if they give you energy and you follow that, they get excited and they do more of that. So yeah, I just try to get on their level and understand why they think like they think, why they do the things they do. And that's pretty nice. Like just follow that.
It's a very important life skill. So yeah, you were saying that if they say anything, you'll match that energy.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to stop them from being there, expressing themselves. And then they feel like you really care, kind of thing.
Yeah. Exactly. A few people tell me that kids can control me. Like they feel that the kid is controlling me, right? Like, oh, Andres, Fernando, let's do this.
Sure.
And I usually go along with that. But for me, it's not that the kid is controlling me, it's that the kid is naturally, interesting, naturally creative. And of course, they have a lot of physical energy that they need to use. So as long as there is no like a physical harm in it, I feel like, we can do that. Even if it's not socially acceptable or like mature or like good behavior.
Yeah.
I feel that as long as you are not hurting anybody, we can do it. Yeah, we can try it out.
And it works.
Yeah.
So then let's talk about this event. What was the furthest that somebody came from? The furthest away that they came from?
So there's this region that they call the Northwest.
Northwest? Yeah.
No, wait. Northeast.
Noreste.
Just north.
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 And it's really far away. They are closer to the equator. Right? So it's like on top of Brazil. So it's really far away. Like if they come by bus, it will be like 2 days.
Cool.
So they didn't come by bus, by the way. So they came from there for the event. And also there's Mato Grosso, that is like Jardin. What is Jardin? That is also really...
Hey, I wanted to let you know about the Radiant program. What's the Radiant program? If you are a young blessed couple that was blessed in marriage sometime in the last few years. And this program is just for you. It is a couples intimacy program for young couples. And you can join with your spouse, you can join without your spouse. We've got group discussions and community for men and women separate. And also we have opportunities for you and your couple to dive deeper into God's word, into the word of true parents, and learn how to experience an absolute sex relationship. So if that's you and you want to join, check out somewhere in this video, this episode and below, or go to highnoon.org to check it out. All right, hope to see you there.
It's far. And yeah, it was interesting. We had like kind of like 4 points, like the north, the west, the south. A lot of people from the south.
Feels like a geography lesson.
And we were already in the east. And yeah, so yeah, it was really, really interesting. We kind of have a small Brazil in the event.
We had people driving from, I heard 18 hours, right? Some people?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something that.
Some people drove from 11 hours for sure overnight.
No, it was 7 hours. I don't know who told you that.
Some satanic.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't know the numbers in English.
Maybe
It was like 7 hours, and a lot of people from Sao Paulo, which was like 2 hours away from the workshop. So, yeah.
Well, disregard anything I say. But where was that tour bus come? Like, there's that bus, that huge bus. Where did those people come from?
Sao Paulo.
Oh, okay. That's so far.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Oh, that's easy. Okay, never mind. So, because Philippines was like that too. I mean, they were coming. There's somebody who came on a 30-something hour boat ride just to get there on a boat. That's disgusting. But they did it. And it was a group of 7. And a bunch of them were young. But there were people coming from all over.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this unifying event. They don't really have events like that. And so sounds like this was a little bit of that. Right? That people were coming, they might not see each other so much.
Yeah.
You know? And then how many people ended up coming?
We had 179 people.
And it was in this beautiful place. I don't know if you saw, you can check out our Instagram if you do that kind of stuff.
Portuguese, high-end Portuguese.
Or just hang up the real one. And we have some documentation of the environment was beautiful, right?
Mm.
And it was beautiful weather, except on Saturday in the afternoon, after fun, we had like fun activities, which we fought a little bit about because I was trying to get you to realize that it can be fun and, you know, this kind of thing. But after that, then we had breakouts, which is what we did. We break out into different demographics for them to ask all their questions and to go deep. And I had the parents with young kids. And so I was waiting for my breakout in a room by myself, just walking in circles because I didn't want to sit down. Long day, don't want to get tired. So I'm just pacing in circles in an empty room. Fernando comes in soaking wet, drenched, and he's like, "They're not coming." So what do you mean they're not coming? They're not going to come, he said. They're not going to come.
They don't want to get wet.
They don't want to get wet because it was pouring rain. And so I was like, what does that even mean? Like, you can't walk. It wasn't far. It wasn't like a migrational pattern. It was just maybe 40 feet. They have to run and get a little bit wet. But they were like, it actually made sense for them to complain because they're the ones that had little kids with them. Some of them had babies. So like, anybody's sacrifice, it's the teenagers or whatever, right? But so Fernando and I had to run back in the rain.
Yeah.
And then I'd go in and it looked to me like a shipwreck, like a ship that went down and then they were saved. Like the people were saved from a sinking ship and then they were saved onto another ship. And the look of the people was like on that second ship. And everybody looked like they were frazzled and war-torn and look in their eyes. And then Stefany is like, they're not going to go on. I said, and I was going, because she's a woman, I wasn't going to hurt her, but I was going to punch somebody, maybe Sammy. Punch me even harder, and then I regret that very quickly. So it was like this moment where nothing can work. There weren't enough rooms for the breakouts. And so I was like, have it
Freaking out.
in this lobby. That was your recommendation, is that my people with all the little babies would have their group in the lobby. And I was like, that's not happening, right? And then we'd all share the lobby with another group. And so there's no way. And I was just like, I don't even know what to do. And then it just stopped raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just
Look at
walked.
Yeah.
And my feeling,
Like nothing happened.
because I'm very spiritual, I'm very connected to God, and I know God's plans very intimately.
Oh my God.
In that moment, this is a lesson. Okay, God loves me
Mm?
the
Okay.
most
Uh-huh.
out of all of us, obviously, but
Yeah.
out of most of most. And he's like, what I felt spiritually is that he thinks that you're a big baby, and you couldn't figure it out. He's putting you to the test,
Uh-huh.
and then you failed, right? So you're gonna obviously have to pay him back. And then he sided with me, just because that's easier, because he knows me.
Oh my God.
And so then the rain stopped like that, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't like a slow trickle. It was like that.
Yeah,
I
it was
was
like
like,
that,
all
yeah.
right, okay, thanks. And then I was like, we'll talk later. So I just, Heavenly Parent really wanted me to tell you that. It was on my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like from one really superior person.
My gosh.
Okay? But other than that, it was beautiful weather. And if you don't know, if you haven't traveled, it'd be a really cool pilgrimage to see all of our properties that we still have.
Yeah.
Because a lot have been sold. But this is like a church-owned convention sports facility with multiple buildings and really nice hotel rooms. It's kind of like the IPEC, but in the jungle. And there's a soccer field and a
A
swimming
pool. Yeah.
pool that nobody took.
Yeah. A lake.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So people coming from all over in this idyllic landscape, far away from distractions.
Yeah.
And so what was a highlight for you?
A highlight for me was when we were doing the activities. I was in charge of
The game?
activity. Yeah, the games. We weren't doing the games yet, the physical games.
One looked a little bit like gambling, by the way. The one with the
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta.
People like that.
Yeah, you have
no
to.
gambling
You
for
have
money.
to guess
No
where
money.
where the ball is
Yeah.
at. Yeah. Then when I was in charge,
I just want to know, was that girl trained in that, or did she have to just watch YouTube?
we found her on the street. Drink performer. Yeah, no. She knows how to move the ball from one glass.
Is that the trick? You gotta
You gotta move it to trick the person.
because they were watching the grown-ups, right? Like 50,
Yeah.
60-year-olds
or grown-ups watching. So she must have been really good.
Yeah,
She was really good.
yeah, she was good. But I don't know if she trained her. She'd be the last 3 days training on how to do it. Yeah. But I was in charge of football, soccer,
Football.
football.
A football show.
Yeah. And if you know anything about Brazil, that they have the football in their
Passion.
blood. They are born with the football. When they come out, they already have a ball with them. So they were crazy about playing football, and and they wanted everyone to play. Like they were making their teams, and they asked me like, "Oh, are you gonna play with us?" And I was gonna be the referee of the game. So I didn't want to. I know that they're gonna get intense, so I didn't want to run. Like, no, I'm gonna be the referee, so I cannot play, right? But then they told Mark, right? Oh, are you gonna play? And I jokingly, but kind of not, thinking that he was gonna only focus on taking pictures. I said, no, he's working. Like he's gonna work. And Mark heard me. Like, I don't know if he understood Spanish.
In that moment, he understood.
He understood that I was such a no. And he turned and what? I'm gonna play. And then
Selective.
yeah. He translated everything and he understood the situation.
He became Brazilian in that moment.
He played. And And he just really connected with people. Like they started calling him, "Hey, Mark, send me the ball." And then when a Brazilian made a mistake playing football, like they would say, throw all these things in Portuguese, like "How que malo, because stuff like that. And when Mark was playing, they started all speaking in their bad English, like go, faster, me, give it to me.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And Mark was really into the game as well. Like he was showing his English powers as well. And so I really like that, the fact that through a sport, like they could connect no matter the language. And that felt really nice. And I felt that, yeah, even if we don't speak the same language, we have something that connects us, then that's all you need, right? And I know I always like that about our community, the fact that it's very multicultural, but the thing that brings us together is two parents, right?
And
We
soccer.
and soccer, yeah. Two parents and soccer. And so because everybody loves true parents, we have that in common. And we say, oh, you are from the church. Oh, you already understand that they love true parents. And that's the way you can connect with them. And with that, you can overlook any other difference or any other thing that could separate you just because of that one thing. And in this workshop, a lot of people were touched by the topic of sexuality, because that is another thing that everyone understands. Like, oh, I have my sexuality that I need to focus, that I need to use in a productive way. We all want the blessing, or we are told that the blessing is very important. So at least people understand the importance of that. And so being in a high noon workshop is like everybody comes. In this case, a lot of people didn't know that they were going to talk about this. But when you listen to it, like you understand, okay, this is natural. This is nature. This is God speaking about your sexuality, and you can connect through that.
Yeah, just first of all, that's beautiful. Second of all, what you brought up was when we were doing our debrief yesterday, we found out, we were asking Luana, like, how did you get everybody here? Right? She's really in charge. These are her people. And many of them came just because she said, come. And they didn't know what they were coming to, which is totally not how we normally do it.
Yeah.
Because we are very explicitly about something. So we want people who are serious about that. But she just put her reputation on the line with family and best friends and anybody who respects her. Just say, trust me, just come to this thing and you love it. So there's people coming to a workshop in the middle of nowhere, can't escape if they wanted to a workshop entirely about sex. And it must have been shocking for a second, and then be like, oh, and kind of intriguing, and then relieving, right? Because they got into it. I didn't see any demographic that there was like that one cluster of kids, the boys that
we only saw them at dinner.
Yeah, we only saw them during meals.
But
everybody else, like parents, everybody else is really into it. Especially breakouts. The breakouts are really cool because people could go deep. Yeah. So what's a highlight for you, young lady?
I was thinking. I think it was the end, but wait, not because
it's finished. That's the best part.
Your favorite part was
when everybody left. No. The end, not because it ended, but I guess at the end it was the one of the mamas when I called, I say like, okay, it is done. And also it was the moment when a lot of people approached me, because during the event, I always want to talk to people, but there's so many things to do, right? So, and a lot of people tell me like in workshops, I know I have like a face of like, is it really serious?
like you've done.
Like like, oh my gosh, she's a research student. Like, approach her, look at her, which might be true because I'm always like going back and forth and blah blah blah. But at the end, I'm not like that. I'm like just there. So a lot of people approach me that I know, a lot of people I know online because we did some groups or like facilitators, and I saw them when they arrived. But again, it was so busy. It was a chaos sometimes. So, but then this moment I was like really approaching some key volunteers in Brazil and just saying, thank you, like, thank you for coming and be here and do all the effort because, yeah, the event also was kind of free, right? And that was a lot of people were really grateful for that because if they have to pay for everything, they couldn't come. So, but just the time for traveling, just make the investment to come. So people, yeah, they didn't sleep well, or they came with the whole family, or they have to work, whatever. It's just an investment, right? It's still energy. And yeah, so I was just really like, thank you so much. And a lot of people approached me and also say thank you. I didn't know a lot of people and they took pictures with me and stuff. So that's the moment I felt like I was more present with the participants. I mean, of course, I also really like when I give the lectures because I can see their faces mostly. Yeah, they were really into it. I saw so many people like they didn't blink. They were like so focused. But yeah, that's how I like the end, I guess, because it's when I can approach more people and they can approach me. So a lot of people approach me and we have a lot of conversations. And yeah, I wish we have more time to talk. But yeah, they also have to come back to their places. Yeah, that's why.
Nice. So then what's next? What do you do now? Do you guys need help from anybody here? Or, I mean, for Brazil though, like, okay, there's the next event is Bolivia. By the time you listen to this, we will have done it and it will have been a success. We will have eaten cake.
No rain.
Oh,
Nobody freak out.
They gave us yesterday a 10-year anniversary cake and sang happy birthday for us. And Brazilians really know how to sing happy birthday. That was a really fun happy birthday song. And we ate the crap out of that cake.
I did.
Fernando did, for sure.
I tried to reach a slice and he's like, I don't know, that's amazing.
At some point, we were talking with volunteers after the event, and Stefany wanted to give the cake to the volunteers. Of course, really good.
Like sacrificial.
Yeah, exactly. But the way she said it is that I was thinking like, are we going to eat the cake? And she said, no, I'm going to give it to them. We're not going to eat anything. And Amitsue saw me at the time. She said that my face was so disappointed. I was so sad.
He just came for the cake.
I just came to that meeting for the cake. She told me, no, you cannot eat it.
Yeah.
And then there was some leftover and I was happy.
Yeah. So we just wanted to give that little surprise. It was so funny because Mayara was saying that to everyone, but you didn't understand any of it. Mayara already say everyone, okay, we are going to do this surprise, so please when the cake comes, you have to sing and be really happy. And so everybody knew it, except you. So it was so funny. And we were like preparing, like, you have to hear the keyword that is cake, bolo. And then you enter. And then Fernando was ready. Everybody was in position. It was so nice. The moment was really nice. And
that's so easy to do a surprise party for people who don't speak.
Yeah.
I'm just deaf, dumb, and blind.
And like hiding the cake from them and stuff like that. It was so funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
So then what's for Brazil? What do you want? What do you want to do? Now that, so I would say the overwhelming majority of people there had a very deep experience. There was the content, there's the group discussions, there were the breakouts, and then the praise and worship at night, which was really amazing. The loudest band I've ever heard. Very loud, but very amazing. And then Hundoke was great, and then all the sessions were great. Planning. So now that they're in this place, what do you want to do with them? What do you want to do with Brazil? It's the next step. It's your vision.
So I think this event for Brazil, it just opened a lot of doors. I mean, some doors were open before, but again, like the people, it is the same with the worship. Like people is who made the community, right? Just like the pastors or just a few people that are staff. If they don't have the community, the people there, it's not a community, right? There's not a church in Brazil. So community makes, the people makes the community, right? So having that big event and like a lot of people now talking about Hainon in a transparent way, right? Like, okay, Hainon is something that can help us to be a stronger community, right? Because that's what we want, just to be stronger, have tools and actually talk about stuff that is difficult, especially in Brazil, right? So I think this is going to open a lot of doors for people just to be more open and talk more and have more grace between us, right? Sometimes we're pretty judgmental between inside.
Yeah.
But I think this opportunity also to understand that we are not alone, right? I think that's a big part of community. I'm not alone, and like I've struggling, I can ask someone now, right? I know who to ask at least, right? So yeah, it's not like all the problems of Brazil are resolved because Hainon came for 2 days. Sadly.
Disagree.
But yeah, so I feel like now, I think, and when I say this, right, now is when the real work is going to start, right? Like just talking to people and embracing them and the way we do that is through our groups, right? Like events are amazing and there's soccer and cake and really good food. We had really good food. I think it was the best food by far in the tour.
Yeah,
That's why they told
we
me.
don't even need to eat the other option.
Exactly.
We on Saturday we had steak and chicken for lunch and then steak and chicken for dinner.
Yeah. Very.
But that's not where we can really, practice and, grow into our ideal self, right? That's what we were saying all the time. Like, this worship is amazing, but you need to work on that, right? So, and that's the way we do it, and it's working until now, is the groups. So really just embracing all the community in Brazil to join our groups and have a really good experience. And also people to volunteer, right? We were saying, like, we really want to grow, but we cannot do this just 2 people, 1 and me. Like, it's about volunteers, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's what we want to do now in Brazil. Like, just have more groups, more community feeling, and, just get stronger as a community in Brazil, right? All together as a family, right? We are a family, so if we can help, we are really happy to help. So, yes.
Yeah, so starting groups has been difficult in Brazil, right? It's been a long time coming, but now it looks like between 50 and 70 people who have signed up for a group. So launch that. So if you speak Portuguese or if you speak fake Portuguese, are willing to believe that you can learn Portuguese, help us. We need a lot of facilitators, volunteers, and anything else?
Yeah, I really like during this workshop to see their staff, the volunteers, because I saw a few people that really feel identified with Hainon. Like, oh, Hainon is my family. The staff, a lot of the staff were working really hard, and at the end, when we had like the small thank you meeting with them, especially one, Rebecca, when she shared, she was really happy to do this. And she's been with Hainon a long time, just volunteering and working, helping however she can. And she was really moved by that. And then Mayara, the MC, she was also into it. And Yusun and everyone were really working on that. Not because they have to, not because they're
we didn't pay them.
We didn't pay them anything, just like in food. But they really took it seriously. And I also saw a few other people that have participated, that whenever somebody asks, like, have you been in Hainon before? They would like be very proud, raising their hand. Yeah, I've been in Hainon before.
Yeah.
And when they were talking about the stuff that they know, they were like, yeah, I know that. You need to think about that. Right? And a few people told me that I'm going to come to like get other people to join. And so I really like that. And I hope more people can realize how much this is just a community for them to feel loved and feel appreciated and to experience God's love through Hainu, just like we have experienced God's love through our two parents and our Holy Mother. And Hainu is also another way for you to experience God's love.
Yeah. And also to experience the value of what we have, right? Because the community, that was one thing I asked all the parents of young kids, like, do you have support in their communities? And they all said no. And I said, this is a great crime because our kids need aunts and uncles. We as parents, we need support when we're drained. We need somebody to say, oh, give me your kids. You go out and relax or have a good day. There's too few of that. I even asked many of the older people, like, do you have friends? I have religious friends, but not real friends. See it. And so we're taking True Parents' family that they built, but just bringing them closer together. Because what divides us are these shadows, or these feelings of inadequacy or self-loathing, whatever. When we remove that, then it's just like we're bringing in the fabric to be a nice, tightly knit, beautiful sweater that every parent can wear. So yeah, great. Brazil is in good hands. If you guys are Brazilian or know a Brazilian or speak Portuguese, help us and help them. They need help. Look at them. How much help they need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the count of three, victory. 1, 2, 3, victory.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, did you know that our team wants to do more events? Well, if you want to bring the High Noon message to your community or group, then let us know and we'll try to work something out. There's a simple application that you can fill out right now at highnoon.org/invite. And one of our team members will get back to you to see what's possible. That's highnoon.org/invite. All right, see you in the next episode.